Morning, it's 12:08 a.m. 5/5/2025. Just started before to document this little dream that I had. And it's just this place that I used to walk past in Wrigleyville. You guys might know there is a small, it's like a small memorabilia. Um, it's like a comic book store, but it's like, I don't think it's just I think it's like trading cards and stuff like that. And like there's a couple of these stores around Chicago and they surface in my dreams. It's really weird. Um, yeah, there are a couple of these shops here. Um, kind of around well, there's the one that I walked past in Wrigleyville, and it leads to these other dreams that I have at the Taco Bell in front of Wrigleyville. And some other weird occurrences that happen. It's just all over the city. That city's very, very triggery. It's kind of got this latchkey thing going on that like if you can like kind of access this magic part, it'll give you entry to um this like kind of corridor of like experience in Chicago. Um, I have dreams like on the red line, and like sometimes I'll be like even riding on the outside of like cars and stuff. So it's very interesting. I'll have dreams on like around the loop on like the brown line or the blue line. And that might be like kind of a sign. I don't know. I just remember I have these dreams where I'm walking around this part of Wrigleyville where I used to go to walk to my dealers, and it's all built up now. And there's one dream where I'm sure I've talked about it on here. I've got like lines on my face, and I meet this person who's like putting tattoos and like piercings in people's faces, like huge gauges and stuff, and it's like a performative thing. And like basically, I've got one, and this person gives me a crystal, and it's like I end up talking to this huge, like in this like dungeon, and I'm like talking to this huge like dungeon, like executioner guy, and he's like ripped and he's like huge. And it causes like there's like a party, there's like weird things going on, and it causes me to have to like run, and like I get caught up in this weird corridor. So like I'm going through some of this stuff and like trying to pull out the details and put them appropriately back to the video I just recorded last night. Is that like there are these details that lead outward towards like if other people are also having memories of different parts that they've had similar access to, but like have had a different spot out there. So in another segmented dream, my like best friends from home, Kyle and like Alex, they show up and like I'm riding a bus with like a skateboard back from this like long like bridge like thing. They're like man-made islands there or something now. And like yeah, it's just like I have a few friends who like live out there now. And like in the dreams. And like that's why it feels bizarre because like it's almost like reality's like out there. All these people who like went out to grow up without me now grown up and they're like living their professional lives out there. And so like it falls way back on weird angles in Chicago. And there's, like I said, there's these storefronts that feel familiar on like these walks. There's one where um it's like a hanging awning room over a like building on a storefront. And there's several different like things going on in that city. I have them with like Hard Rock Cafe and um around that area and like um and even the House of Blues. I have a dream at the House of Blues, I think. Um but like yeah, I there's like all sorts of weird stuff going on in that city and in my dreams over there. It's just like this building that I walk past, I feel like it's a little bit haunted, especially because they have like all these sports memorabilia, um, and stuff like that. And then there's like what is it, Giordano's or Gino's East or something, one of the places that has like all the writing on it. Yeah. So like that could be another thing is like there are different tourist attractions that like a lot of people go to. But you can kinda like, again, you can kinda latchkey some of it and, like, access some of the weird Hollywood magic and, like, his just history too, that city's rich and full of lots of interesting history. So, like I said, jetpacks and another dream, and, like, train stations in Lapeer, weird dreams where there's, like, extra, like, concept cars, there's, like, weird dreams with trains, and sometimes the trains have, like, glass underbellies. I'm falling out of them sometimes, and they're, like I've got some very interesting dreams, with the red line and different things that happens, um, like, in and out of, like, the city. There's, like, these giant like, in my dreams, there's these giant like train stations basically. Feels kind of like Final Fantasy or something really dystopian. And like, yeah, there's like these basically future trains and transportation that you can ride from like A to B. And like I'm not sure what it is exactly, but it's very visceral. It's cerebral and like it's hard to really pin down what exactly is happening in these dreams, but I know for a fact I can't shake it that other people now have access to some of these dreams where and I'm in, like, different parts of the city that, like, haven't been made yet. I'm entering, like, storefronts that of, like, made up boutique stores that, like, I don't know if they exist or not, but they do in this dream realm thing here going on. Which now I'm, like, having there's parts in, like, Wicker Park and, like, Logan Square so like it's all over that city. And so like that could be where I'm like crossing over this legacy between art school and where I started actually making my residency in that city on a very weird one in the red line where I've got some like wise old black dudes giving me like directions on on the red line, um, which isn't too uncommon in regular like occurrence if you've ever ridden the red line after a certain time of day. You'll run into plenty of wise people. So like that's kind of that could be one thing that I'm kind of resonating on is that college um, does like hold over ties between like tourism and like residency. So that feels like some of the weirdness that I've picked up. And it could be what I'm also maybe wondering if it's not the Greek fraternities at DePaul or something weird like that. Because I also have like dreams of some of the parties that I went through. And um yeah, again, there's some weird boutiquing thing going on out there. Excuse me. Excuse me, got a hiccup. Oh my God. Excuse me. There's there's not a lot going on in my system. Um, no, there's like this weird like my old like colleagues like are now in the mix with some of like the city's richest people and artists and stuff like that. Which is true, but also like in the dream realm, I gain access to some pretty bougie places. Which makes me wonder if like I'm also because I'm also running missions in this big like imaginary city, where like sometimes like staircases are missing, or I'm like at the top of like bridges in the sky and stuff like that. It's surreal. But but I I'm studying them and I'm like kind of trying to patent them as intellectual property because I know need to have some sort of a legacy here on some of it, and whether or not that can be measured, and like basically kind of studied for civilian disclosure and that type of paranormal investigation and whatnot. So, yeah, just walking around that Taco Bell. And then I have a dream where I'm like sneaking out of Lansing, going to this Taco Bell with like a group of like guys. And like I think we hit on a girl there. And then we end up all I have to sneak back into Lansing with some stuff. And then I have to go to this like internet cafe and I open up some hentai and like hack the computer and like leave. And like I think that could be like probably where some of this stuff is at with people like reading into my destiny or whatever the heck's going on here, and how maybe I'm getting spied on by some of these people because they're curious and they want to procure more and harvest more elitism out of these expectations potentially. So I don't know. Um, but this dream by this memorabilia shop, and there's a couple of other interesting shops that I have with memorabilia. There's one that really sticks out, and I'm like, I think it's in Michigan or something. And I'm like in this store, and there's like a golden shrine with a bunch of weird stuff like behind this like glass case. And it's like it feels like it's some weird um Islamic thing potentially, or like Roman Catholic or something going on from like the old world. And it's like there is some bizarre kind of energies coming out of some of these dreams because these get out of the city and more in the country. So, I've got this weird connection with these, and then like some out in like Morocco or something like that, where I like wake up and like I'm in a different country. So, could be kind of steezy, to procure more on the legacy of what's actually going on and letting people in on whatever the heck's going on here. Because if I'm a part of this, like these concept cars and this weird like scientific study, and then there's this like I have like dreams with it where there's like laboratory equipment. I have dreams where I'm like taking my mom's car out of like Wilder Road and like out to Detroit. And like I have no clue where I'm at. I'm doing like parkour and stuff. Um Driving cars off of exit ramps and stuff like that. So like yeah, I have a dream where like Cassie and I are like headed to Ohio. And like her mom meets up with us at a mall, and we're like there's one where we're in a white car. We're in a car, and like I kind of crash it, and we park it in a carpool, and some bald white dude in a like white car comes in and like stares at me. He's like watching me, and then he like drives off. He like writes it down and drives off and leaves. And like Cassie comes back and we head off to like some mall or something. And they let it somebody at the mall's like, "Hey, the cops are like following you by your phones. You should like jam them or something." And it's like, "Oh, thanks for letting us know." So like it's a really and then all of a sudden I'm like down south with like Cassie's like friends or something going on. They're acquaintances and they're like, "Why'd you bring her down here?" Um, it's bizarre. And then we traffic meet all the way back up north. So it could have something to do with what's actually happening real time. It could be just a figment of like pondering and like wonder, a sense of wonder in this abstract dream reality. Something tells me that there might be something to the sourcing here on whatever it is that I've been able to pull from some of this part that these parts of these dreams that like stick out a little bit more and like and because yeah there's game there's like dreams I have with like I'm in video games like Fallout or Halo or like Jet Set Radio or like and now it's no longer a dream, it feels like straight up like a fabrication. So, I don't know. I hope this helps you guys out. It's 12/24, 5/5/2025. I'll see you guys a little bit later.